King Akhenaten, originally known as Amenhotep IV, is a figure shrouded in both historical and academic intrigue, largely due to his revolutionary approach to Egyptian religion, art, and governance. His personal life and family, while less documented than his public reforms, offer a rich tapestry of relationships and mysteries that continue to captivate historians and scholars. Akhenaten's royal household was marked by his deeply personal and politically significant relationship with his great royal wife, Nefertiti. Often depicted alongside Akhenaten, Nefertiti played a critical role as a partner in rule and as an emblem of beauty and power. Historical interpretations suggest she may have wielded significant influence, both as a co-ruler and as a key proponent of Akhenaten's religious vision centering on the worship of Aten, the sun disk. Her moniker as the Beautiful One has come reflects her iconic status in ancient history. The couple produced 6 daughters, whose depictions in art marked a significant departure from previous Egyptian representation. Unlike the rigid, formal art of earlier dynasties, imagery of Akhenaten's family was distinctively naturalistic, often showing the daughters in intimate and familial settings. This new portrayal highlighted their affectionate familial bonds and possibly signified their symbolic roles as extensions of the royal couple's divine nature. Beyond their artistic parallels, the health and physiological presentation of Akhenaten and his line hold particular scholarly attention. Multiple statues and carvings reveal Akhenaten's distinctive elongated features, which some researchers speculate evidence a medical condition such as Marfan syndrome. This genetic syndrome fits the bill due to traits like elongated limbs and fingers, yet no definitive diagnosis can be retroactively confirmed. Inherently linked to these health speculations are the possible inherited conditions that might have plagued the royal family. Tutankhamun, Akhenaten's probable son, famously suffered from numerous health issues, including a club foot, cleft palate, and scoliosis. The questions of these genetic diseases cast a shadow over the familial lineage and provide context for the need to explore and understand the health challenges that could have influenced Akhenaten's rule and the political dynamism of the 18th dynasty. To add further enigma to Akhenaten's narrative is the controversy surrounding his succession. Akhenaten, known historically for his radical approach to religion, his reign marked a profound shift in Egyptian theological paradigms. One of the most distinctive features of his reign was the introduction and imposition of Atenism, the worship of the sun deity Aten, as the state's singular religious practice. Prior to Akhenaten's rise, Egyptian religion had been dominantly polytheistic, with Ammonius being one of the most venerated deities. The priesthood of Ammonius had amassed substantial power and influence, posing a potential threat to the pharaonic authority. Akhenaten's decision to centralize the worship on Aten and discontinue the worship of Ammonius can be viewed through various lenses. One persuasive motive was the consolidation of royal power. By de-emphasizing Ammonius' priesthood, Akhenaten systematically weakened a powerful institution, thereby realigning religious practices under direct royal control. Another interpretation of his monotheistic reforms points to personal conviction and potential divine revelations that drove Akhenaten to perceive Aten as the supreme, possibly the only, divine entity. This aligns with his apparent belief in Aten as the life-giving force of the world. This concept is vividly described in the hymn to the Aten. This hymn praises the benevolence and universality of Aten's presence and can be viewed as an early form of religious text emphasizing a singular deity's omnipotence. Notably, it draws parallels to later religious writings such as the Psalms, demonstrating a similar reverence for divine creation and omnipresence. However, Akhenaten's religious revolution was not without significant social ramifications. The traditional temples dedicated to Egypt's polytheistic pantheon were shuttered, leading to societal unrest. The grievances of the displaced, Ammonious priests reflected broader dissatisfaction, as religious culture had played a vital role in societal cohesion. The dramatic alteration of religious practice likely fostered public confusion and resentment, especially considering the rapid pace of reform. Additionally, the economic implications were notable. Temple closures effectively transferred wealth and power from established religious institutions back to the regal center. While this may have momentarily benefited the pharaonic administration, the societal discord it engendered could not be overlooked. Ultimately, Akhenaten's reign, characterized by his religious zeal and audacious reforms, had an ephemeral footprint. Following his death, the religious orthodoxy rapidly reverted to polytheism under the successors, notably Tutankhamun. Tutankhamun restored the worship of Ammonius. This return marked the public and authoritative repudiation of Akhenaten's religious innovations. The brief monopoly of Atenism underscores crucial dynamics within ancient Egyptian society, the complex interplay between political authority, religion, and societal structure. Akhenaten's legacy continues to be a subject of scholarly examination, both for its religious implications and the substantial shifts it catalyzed within the Egyptian socio-political landscape. The art of the ancient Egyptian ruler Akhenaten, known as Amarna art, represents a significant departure from traditional Egyptian artistic conventions. This narrative explores the distinctive characteristics that define this era's artistic production. Highlights key artworks such as the iconic bust of Nefertiti and contrasts these with more conventional Egyptian artistic features. Akhenaten, formerly known as Amenhotep IV, initiated a religious and artistic revolution during his reign, emphasizing the worship of Aten, the sun disk. This theological shift was accompanied by dramatic changes in artistic expression, leading to the development of what is now termed Amarna art, named after Akhenaten's city, Amarna, where he relocated the capital. One of the most striking elements of Amarna art is its unprecedented realism, a notable contrast to the idealized forms and rigid conventions of earlier Egyptian art. Amarna artists embraced expressive and naturalistic portrayals, deviating from the consistent geometry and perfectionism of their predecessors. This period is characterized by elongated and curvilinear figures, and the representation of figures with exaggerated physical traits, such as elongated heads, slender necks, drooping lips, heavy eyelids, and pronounced stomachs, challenged the typical canonical style. The artistic forms during Akhenaten's reign often depicted intimate family scenes, showcasing the pharaoh with his wife, Nefertiti, and their daughters in private and affectionate family interactions. This portrayal of royalty in personal and tender moments was revolutionary, as previous art primarily focused on the grandeur and divinity of the rulers. One of the most celebrated pieces of Amarna art is the bust of Nefertiti, found in the workshop of sculptor Thutmose. This artwork encapsulates the era's characteristic features of realism, promoting intimate aesthetics while highlighting Nefertiti's elegance with her elongated features and serene expression. Also prominent are the paintings depicting the royal family beneath the radiant and life-giving rays of Aten, reinforcing the religious significance of Akhenaten's reforms. Contrasting with the Amarna style, traditional Egyptian art, exemplified by statues of rulers such as Ramses II, emphasizes timelessness, authority, and rigid formality. The statuary and reliefs of this conventional style adhere to work proportions and idealized features, portraying figures with a timeless, godlike perfection meant to convey eternal power. In sum, Amarna art reflects a period of profound transformation in the cultural and spiritual life of Egypt. Its move towards realism and emotional expression marks a stark contrast to the iconic traditions preceding it, offering an intriguing insight into a unique historical chapter defined by the idiosyncratic vision of a pharaoh who defied norms and embraced an innovative aesthetic perspective. The period of King Akhenaten's reign stands as one of the most revolutionary phases in ancient Egyptian history, characterized by profound changes in religious practices, artistic expression, and urban planning. Akhenaten, initially known as Amenhotep IV, was a pharaoh belonging to the 18th dynasty of Egypt. His reign marked a departure from the traditional worship of a pantheon of gods to the singular veneration of Aten, the sun disk, embodying this drastic shift known today as Atenism. To manifest his devotion to Aten, Akhenaten established a new capital city named Akhenaten, Horizon of Aten, located at the site of modern-day Amarna. The architectural design of Akhenaten was revolutionary, embracing religious symbolism and a unique conception of city planning. True to its dedication to Aten, the city was designed with open temples, devoid of roofs, allowing the sun's rays to penetrate uninterrupted, emphasizing Aten's divine presence and influence. This architectural trait exemplified a radical departure from the massive, enclosed temple complexes. The construction of Akhenaten was remarkably rapid, facilitated by the innovation of utilizing talatats, small standardized limestone blocks, for building purposes. These blocks were efficiently assembled in modular fashion, hastening the process of erecting structures pivotal to Akhenaten's vision. Talatats became the cornerstone of Akhenaten's architecture, symbolizing not just an efficient approach to erection of edifices, but symbolically representing the orderly and systemic worship of Aten. A prominent feature of Akhenaten's architecture was its alignment with celestial phenomena. The main axis of the city was strategically oriented eastward towards the sunrise, endowing the city with a unique celestial connection. This orientation held profound religious significance, as the sunrise marked the ceremonial awakening of Aten, and the city itself served as the material representation of divine harmony with nature. In contrast, while the temples of Karnak were horizontal structures designed to encapsulate the divine in enclosed sanctuaries, Akhenaten opened its heart to the sky, celebrating the sun in its grand architectural embrace. To further elucidate its unique structuring, Akhenaten's open-plan layout revealed a series of courtyards, plazas, and boundaries steely delineating tangential points revering Aten's majesty. Every feature of the city was meticulously designed to foster a vivid connection between the inhabitants and Aten, nurturing a spiritual dynamism unprecedented in Egyptian history. The urban nucleus, the Great Temple of Aten, prominently occupied the city's landscape, exemplifying the unification of architectural brilliance and piety. The design of Akhenaten, grounded on both religious zeal and architectural innovation, underscored Akhenaten's profound ideological transformation, creating a legacy and infusing the region with a symbolic representation of solar divinity. Akhenaten, in its short-lived existence, stood as a testament to Akhenaten's extraordinary ambition to mold Egypt not only into a new religious sphere, but into a civilization basking in the omnipresence of Aten, the sole deity revered in the city of the sun's horizon. Akhenaten emerged, challenging the centuries-old norms that lay entrenched in the society and religious fabric of his era. It was during the New Kingdom, amid the opulent courts of Thebes, that Akhenaten stirred a profound transformation that would echo through eternity. As the wisps of incense clouded the air within Karnak's grand temple, the heavy gaze of the priests of Munisri bore down upon Egypt's ruler. Akhenaten, however, envisioned an ambitious departure from the pantheon of deities revered by his predecessors. He orchestrated the ascendancy of Aten, the sun disk, elevating it above all other gods, and in this, manifesting an unprecedented chapter of monotheism in Egyptian history. Politically, Akhenaten's shift in religious ethos served more than theological interest. The priests of Thebes wielded immense power, with their influence spreading vast and deep, akin to the roots of a mighty papyrus. By instigating the worship of Aten and branding it as supreme, Akhenaten aimed to transcend the limitations imposed by the religious oligarchy, reducing the stranglehold of traditional priesthood over Egypt's economic and spiritual life. The migration away from Thebes to the virgin grounds of Akhenaten, modern-day Amarna, represented both a physical and symbolic divergence from old powers. Situated along the Nile's fertile banks, Akhenaten was crafted not only as a religious capital, but as the locus of a fresh societal order where divine Aten's light would be unimpeded. Yet, such monumental endeavors came at colossal economic costs. The erection of this new city involved strenuous efforts, channeling vast resources and labor, stretching the kingdom's treasury thin. The burden of raising grand edifices within barren lands, procuring supplies, and supporting its burgeoning population consumed Egypt's wealth exorbitantly. Akhenaten's reign along the sacred city walls cast long shadows, whispering tales of glory and hubris until his fateful demise. With him crumbled the ephemeral dream woven by the sands of Akhenaten. His successors, reluctant to perpetuate the bold religious singularism, elapsed into bygone traditions. Akhenaten, also identified as Amenhotep IV, ascended to the throne of ancient Egypt during the 18th dynasty. His reign, spanning from around 1353 to 1336 BCE, is often described as extraordinary and transformative, yet deeply controversial. He is renowned for one of the most radical shifts in ancient Egyptian history, the deviation from traditional polytheistic worship to the monotheistic adoration of the sun god Aten. This bold religious transformation not only altered religious practices, but also instigated profound social and political changes within the kingdom. Akhenaten's reign was marked by the construction of a new capital, Akhenaten, modern-day Amarna. Here, under the radiant light of the Aten, Akhenaten, alongside his chief wife Nefertiti, endeavored to reshape Egyptian culture, emphasizing a move away from the traditional priesthood and embracing a new artistic style. Despite the dramatic innovations, his devotion to Aten and the neglect of the powerful Ammonius priesthood sowed seeds of discontent. Upon his death, Akhenaten's religious experiment was swiftly dismantled. His successor, Tutankhamun, under the advisement of state officials, restored the conventional religious order. Akhenaten was abandoned, and the city fell into ruin. Akhenaten's name was systematically omitted from king lists, his monuments defaced, and he was posthumously labeled a heretic. The narrative of his oblivion persisted for centuries until the tales of his controversial reign re-emerged. The discovery and excavation of Tel El Amarna in the late 19th century provided an invaluable glimpse into Akhenaten's world, revealing artifacts, art styles, and architecture that uncovered the depth of his vision and rule. These discoveries have been pivotal in reconstructing the understanding of a ruler who had been largely written out of history. Akhenaten's period fascinated modern thinkers, including Sigmund Freud, who famously drew parallels between Akhenaten and Moses. Freud speculated that Akhenaten's monotheistic beliefs may have influenced the formation of Judaism, thus intertwining his narrative with religious history beyond Egypt's borders. This hypothesis, although controversial, highlighted the enduring impact of Akhenaten's ideology on monotheistic religions and our understanding of religious evolution. Akhenaten, in transitioning from heretic to myth, encapsulates a story of vision and political and religious experimentation. His legacy, overshadowed by the desire to erase memory, continues to influence modern perceptions of faith, leadership, and cultural transformation. The ongoing excavation and research at Tel El Amarna remain crucial to unfolding the enigma of this intriguing figure.